on the Department of Education's um, program that will strengthen the senior high school program, which will be piloted this coming school year 2025-2026. So since we are in
Tahimik pa rin ang
recess,
Philippine National Police sa gitna ng mainit na batikos at
decided to
panawagang
conduct a
managot ang mga
multi-probe
sangkot na
hearing to
opisyal sa
focus
iligal
on
na
the
pag-aresto at sa
department's,
pilitang pagpapadala
plan to
kay
roll
dating
out a
Pangulong
new
Rodrigo
senior high
Duterte
school
sa The Hague,
curriculum
Netherlands
called
noong Marso
Strengthen
11.
Senior
Isang
High
hatbang
School,
na mariing
program.
kondisyon sa
And,
inilabas
we
na
want to,
paunang ulat ng Senate Committee on
be
Foreign
enlightened on
Relations.
the,
Batay sa
reforms
paunang
that
report
the Department
ng
of
Senate Committee on
Education has
Foreign
embarked
Relations,
on
iginit ni
so
Senator
far as
Indy,
senior high
chairman
school
ng naturang komite,
curriculum is
na
concerned.
politically motivated
Before
umano
we
ang pag-aresto kay Duterte
go into
sa inilabas na rekomendasyon ng
discussion,
Senado,
I would like to
kabilang
show
sa mga
the body,
pinakakasuhan sina DOJ Secretary
few
Boying Remulla at DILG Secretary John V.
information,
Remulla.
particularly surveys
Pinangalanan
that we
din si PNP
conducted.
Chief General
I've been
Romel
tracking
Marbil,
the
TNP CIDG Chief
satisfaction
Nicolas
of our
Torre at
constituents
Special Envoy
to K-12.
Marcos
And,
Lacanilao para
we've been
sampahan
tracking
rin
this for the
ng
last
kaso.
3 years.
Di nakakasubhan si
And,
DOJ Secretary Remulla
so
dahil
that
sa
we will
paglabag
understand
sa
and
Republic
appreciate
Act
also what is
319
the view
o
of our
Anti-Graft and Corrupt
constituents,
Practices
in
Act
terms-
for sanctioning
what
or
is the view of our
causing an
constituents to the
invalid
K-12
administrative
program
arrest
of the government.
against Duterte, usurpation of
So
judicial
in the
functions,
latest, survey
grave
that we
misconduct,
conducted, this is
and
only
conduct prejudicial
last
to the
March
best
of, this
interest
year.
of public service.
The number of
Pinakakasuhan
satisfied is
naman
about
si Interior
32%,
Secretary Remulla
and the
ng
number of
arbitrary
dissatisfied is
detention,
about 42%.
violation of Republic
So,
Act
in other words,
319
there are
for
more
inducing
dissatisfied
or persuading General Torre
constituents,
or General Marbil to perform an act in
to the
violation of
K-12
law,
program of the
rules, and
government.
regulations,
That's
or an
about
offense
a
in
net
connection with the official
dissatisfaction
duties
about
of the latter,
10%.
grave misconduct,
And
and
we
conduct
also
prejudicial to the best
their
interest
views
of
about
public
the senior
service,
high school,
arbitration
program of the
detention,
government.
violation of
So, the senior
319,
high school
grave
program,
misconduct,
which is
and conduct prejudicial
The
to the
senior high
best
school
interest of
program,
public service. Laban naman kay
about
PNP Chief
33%
Marbil,
are
mahaharap din si
satisfied,
General
about
Torre ng 2
40%
counts of
are
arbitrary detention
dissatisfied.
para
So
kay
that's
dating
about
Pangulong Duterte at dating
that's about
Executive
a
Secretary
negative
Salvador Micaldea.
7%,
Paglabag sa Republic Act
dissatisfaction,
7438
net
matapos na
dissatisfaction
pagbawalang bisitahin ni
So,
VP
in other
Sara
words,
ang
our
ama nito
constituents
at
are
persahang
not
pag-iwan ng mga
satisfied with
abogado
K-12.
kay Duterte. Paglabag rin
Our
sa Republic
constituents
Act
are also not
319
satisfied
o
with
pagsunod
the
sa mga
senior high
kautusan
school
ni na
program
General
in
Marbil
particular.
at Interior Secretary
And, this
Remulla,
is a-
grave misconduct and conduct prejudicial to
something
the
that we
best
should take
interest of
note,
public service.
because
Habang
what we
inirekomenda
want
rin
is
ang
our
pagsasampa
parents
ng
and our
kaso laban kay
constituents to be
Special
happy with the
Envoy for
K-12
Transnational
program.
Crimes
This is the
Ambassador
nation's
Marcos
education
Lacanilao
program. This
sa
is the
ilalim ng
nation's
usurpation of
basic
official functions
education,
sa ilalim ng
platform.
Article
And if our
177
constituents are not
ng Revised
happy
Penal
with our
Code,
basic
false
education
testimony
platform,
sa
particularly
ilalim
our
ng
parents,
Article
then they
183
don't
ng
see
Revised
any
Penal Code
value
at
to the
conduct
nation's
prejudicial
basic
to the best
education
interest
program.
of the
This
service.
is something
Nauna
that we
nang
should
nabatikos
learn
ang pamahalaang Marcos
and
Jr.
analyze
sa
very
ginawa nito
deeply.
sa dating presidente ng
Of
bansa
course, if you look at
nang
the
abandonahin nito si
2025
Duterte sa
numbers,
kamay
seems
ngayon
like it's,
ng mga dayuhan. Sa kabilang
quite
banda hanggang ngayon patuloy pa
But if
rin
you
ang mga
look at the
protesta ng
trend
mga
over the
Pilipino
years,
mula
it
sa
will
iba't
show
ibang
you,
dako ng mundo dahil
the
sa mga
trend
nakitang
over the
paglabag
years for
na ginawa ng
K-12.
pamahalaan sa karapatan ni dating Pangulong Duterte.
In 2019, wala namang problema. Everyone was happy about K-12. 50% satisfied, 20%, 28% dissatisfied. But everything turned around after the pandemic. The dissatisfaction went up in 2022. Unfortunately, there was no survey during 2020 because it's a pandemic year. And we failed to also conduct in 2021 because everyone was still trying to grapple going back to normalcy. But everything, the satisfaction turned around and became dissatisfaction after the pandemic. And because of that, after the pandemic, the height of the dissatisfaction was in 2023, about 52%, and satisfied about 32%. The good news is it's going down. The gap between satisfaction and dissatisfaction is actually narrowing. So in other words, over the years, the reforms and programs that the department is implementing on the ground, people are seeing some benefits out of it. And that's why if you look at the dissatisfaction, which is the red one, and dissatisfaction is going down, the gap is narrowing. But the thing is, it's also going to the undecided or cannot say. So people are seeing some benefit, but they cannot say whether it's good or not. No. But the good thing is the dissatisfaction is going down. No? So in other words, we should continue the reforms that we are doing in order to eliminate dissatisfaction, and our constituents will see the beauty and the benefit of our basic education program in our country. The next slide is the senior high school. The same, over the years, the gap of dissatisfaction and satisfaction is also narrowing, but it's going down to the undecided, so meaning people are not very sure whether it's beneficial to them or not. But the good news there, the number of dissatisfied is going down. If we continue that trend, hopefully in the next few years, we will see more people happier and satisfied with our K to 12 and senior high school program. My own personal analysis to this is because of the pandemic. The pandemic exposed a lot of weaknesses, both economically and also in our education system. I think during the pandemic, a lot of people were jobless, their income went down, their livelihoods disappear. So because of those economic factors, the senior high school in particular became a burden rather than an asset for them, no? Because wala ka ng trabaho, because you were laid off because of the pandemic, your factories, your restaurants were all shut down and you were not earning, and then you still have to pay for 2 years of schooling in senior high school, which our constituents do not see any return to them. No? Wala silang nakikitang benefit, wala silang nakikitang return para sa mga pamilya nila. That's why I think there was a big change during the pandemic. It exposed our economic weakness that also cascaded to our education system. No? So in other words, we have to demonstrate to our constituents that the senior high school has value to them. It's about value, no? Because you're shelling out money in the form of baon, uniforms, projects. But what's the return to their family? The return should be in the form of college readiness, job readiness, maybe entrepreneurial skills. Those are the returns that our family should see, but they are not seeing it. No. But then again, it's not always a bad. It's not always bad news. Like I said, no, the gap of dissatisfaction and satisfaction is narrowing down. No, so let's continue the reforms that we are doing, and hopefully in the next few years we'll see a reversal. No, more people will be happy because they see great value in senior high school and K to 12 to their own families. No, so I wanted to start off with that because we're talking about reforming the senior high school program of our country. And I know that the department is embarking on a massive reform in our curriculum, no? From grades 1 to 10 through the Mandatag curriculum, which is now being implemented. And now we are rolling out the reform or the strengthened senior high school curriculum, which will be piloted this coming school year. So hopefully this reforms that we are doing, itong mga reforms sa curriculum takes time eh. No? When you implement a curricular reform, it doesn't translate it overnight. No? It will translate maybe a few years from now. But then again, people will start noticing changes on the ground. No? So, but now that the department has decided to implement the strengthening of our senior high school program, we would like to understand fully the reforms that were undertaken in order to address the gaps and weaknesses in our current senior high school curriculum, and how this new senior high school curriculum will create value to our constituents. If you remember, there were so many promises during the debates of the K to 12. I'll show some later on. No? We had to review the transcript of the K to 12 debates, and we saw some promises there. And alam mo, mahilig tayo mga ako, puro na pangako tayo ng pangako, lahat napako na eh. No? So, but we need to keep our promises because part of dissatisfaction is not keeping your promises. No, so we want to keep our promises, and we want to see whether this new senior high school program will address the gaps and will fulfill eventually the promises that were made during the debates on the K to 12 system. So with that, I know that we have a long discussion today, so I would like to start off with a briefing from the DepEd on the strengthened senior high school program. And then after that, we'll open the floor to discussions, no? Particularly questions. All right, so we'll call on you, Sec Gina Gonong, to brief us on the new senior high school curriculum.
Thank you very much, Senator Win, and thank you very much to the Basic Education Committee for providing DepEd an opportunity to explain the ongoing reforms in senior high school. The ongoing reforms stem from the directive of the President to Secretary Sani Angara to ensure that we can help prepare our students to become more ready for the life of work or for college education, thereby giving them a better future. The presentation today will focus on the design of the new senior high school curriculum, and then we'll have a presentation also on the pilot implementation and a presentation on HR-related concerns, Senator. So the first presentation will be done by Assistant Secretary Janier Datukan. May I turn this over to ASEC Datukan, please.
Good morning, everyone. Good morning, Senator Win Gatchalian, the Chair of the Senate Committee on Basic Education. We'd like to welcome also our friends here from EDCOM 2, the Senate of the Philippines, our colleagues and officials from DepEd, Chad Tesda, resource persons from the academe, and our guests. I will be presenting the key features of the Strengthened Senior High School program. Next slide, please. The outline of the presentation will include a presentation of the key features of the senior high school curriculum, the latest updates on the curriculum guides, and a discussion on the preparations for the pilot implementation. Next slide, please. So we will start the presentation with the key features of the Strengthened Senior High School program. Next slide. The K-12 senior high school program is not just about preparing our learners for the future, it's about igniting their full potential. We are bound by our constitutional mandate to nurture well-rounded individuals equipped with the skills to thrive in the 21st century. We envision graduates who are ready for the future, guided, be it in higher education, specialized skills, meaningful employment, or entrepreneurial pathway. This vision is deeply embedded in the K-12 program by virtue of Republic Act No. 10533 and further strengthened by the various curricular reforms anchored on it. Next slide, please. According to research, the senior high school program has not yet reached its vision for the K-12 graduates. ACT-RC reported that the curriculum is congested and with cognitive mismatch. And EDCOM2 research reported that there is an excessive number of competencies which limit instructional depth. Both the learners and teachers are overworked and overwhelmed. The instructional and homework time exceeds global standards. Research published by the UP Center for Integrative and Development Studies show that there is low labor participation, with only 10% of senior high school completers enter the workforce or who are mostly in informal jobs. Next slide. But in spite of these, we have made some progress. We want to build on the small wins that we have. TBED reported that we have improved the hiring outlook, with 4 out of 5 companies open to hiring senior high school graduates, an improvement from the 3 out of 5 in 2018. The Philippine statistician reported an increased school participation, where senior high school program boosted enrollment among 16 to 17-year-olds by 13%, which with the highest gains in low-income groups, about 20 to 21%. Next slide. The work we currently do in the senior high school curriculum responds to the directive of President Ferdinand R. Marcos Jr. during his third State of the Nation address, directing the government to harness the totality of the Filipino. For DepEd, this means preparing our senior high school students well for their future. As such, we at DepEd have committed, as instructed and directed also by our Secretary, Sani Angara, to streamline the senior high school curriculum, integrate skills training into the K-12 curriculum, including senior high school, to better prepare the learners for employment. And we work closely with industries to ensure that the curriculum, particularly in the technical, vocational, and livelihood or TVL track, aligns with the needs and demands of the labor market. Next slide, please. Updating the senior high school curriculum requires upgrading the whole system to ensure seamless and effective implementation. This includes learning delivery and assessment, teacher support, learning support, career guidance, advocacy, responsive financing, governance, and pilot implementation. Next slide, please. The strengthening of the senior high school curriculum is guided by our vision for the reform. First, we streamline the tracks and subjects to enhance clarity and efficiency. Second, we expand learners' choice to align education with individual aspirations. Third, we enhance employability by aligning education with industry needs. And fourth, we establish stackable and seamless learning pathways for continued academic and career growth. Next slide. Following this vision, these are the key features of the strengthened senior high school program. There's a reduction of the tracks from 4 to 2, reduction of the required subjects, streamlining the number of core subjects, academic electives, and technical professional, formerly the TVL electives, replacing strands with clusters of electives, introduction of a doorway option where learners can take up to 2 elective subjects from the other track, a revised time allotment per subject, an extension of work immersion hours from the current 80 to 320 hours to 320 to 640 hours. I'll discuss each key feature in the following slides. Next slide. The key competencies from the current core subjects have been streamlined, reducing the original 15 core subjects to just 5. These subjects will now be offered throughout grade 11 instead of being limited to just one semester. So this is offered to be in 1 year. All senior high school students are required to take the core subjects. All subjects that are not part of the core will be called electives. They will not be called applied or specialized subjects any longer. Next slide. The current 15 core subjects have been streamlined into 5 subjects, namely effective communication or mabisang komunikasyon, life skills, general mathematics, general science, and pag-aaral ng kasaysayan at lipunang Pilipino. Next slide. We have the course description for each one of the 5 core subjects. For effective communication, mabisang komunikasyon, this subject is designed to enhance learners' ability to communicate effectively across various contexts. It provides a holistic approach to developing learners' oral, written, and multimodal communication across personal, social, workplace, and professional interactions. It fosters an in-depth understanding of how purpose, audience, and context shape communication while emphasizing clarity, coherence, intercultural sensitivity, and ethical considerations. By the end of the course, learners shall be able to adapt communication strategies based on purpose, audience, and intercultural sensitivity, engage confidently in various communicative events, applying appropriate conventions, language, and structure, utilize digital tools and platforms responsibly to enhance communication effectiveness, and reflect on their communication strengths and areas for improvement, applying feedback to refine their skills for real-world application. Next slide. Nakatuon ang kursong ito sa paglinang ng mabisang komunikasyon sa Filipino bilang wikang pambansa gamit ang pasalita, pasulat, at multimodal na komunikasyon ayon sa layunin, tagapakinig at konteksto na may pagbibigay diin sa interkultural at mga etikal na konsiderasyon tungo sa aktibong pakikisangkot sa isyong panlipunan, pagpapatatag ng kultura at diwang makapilipino. For life skills, this course aims to equip the learner with essential skills, highlighting personal, physical, social, and career competencies, preparing for a meaningful transition to various pathways. It focuses on the interconnectedness of the science of personal development, health and wellness, and career readiness that enable learners to develop self-determination, leadership, adaptability, and resilience to act responsibly in the workplace and community. For the next slide, we have the course description for General Mathematics. General Mathematics aims to deepen learners' understanding of concepts and techniques drawn from numbers and algebra, geometry and measurement, and statistics. Learners will strengthen their problem solving and critical thinking skills, enhance their reasoning and interpretive skills in mathematical and statistical context, and communicate results concisely and systematically using the appropriate language. Additionally, learners will be adept in choosing and using technology appropriately and efficiently, preparing them for a wide range of educational and employment pathways, including further studies in college. This subject is designed for learners with a wide range of educational employment aspirations, including continuing their studies at college, but whose future studies or employment pathways may not require the knowledge of calculus. Next slide. We have general science. This course aims to equip learners with the essential scientific knowledge, skills, and capabilities to meet the challenges of living and working in a rapidly changing and advancing Philippine society. The course aims to provide learners with the fundamental scientific competencies to help shape a sustainable future for themselves, their communities, and the planet. The course focuses on understanding and applications of the scientific models, theories, and laws that relate to everyday life and work, and how these impact on the Philippines as a significant contributor to the world. The curriculum uses a transdisciplinary approach to build understanding of the ways that chemistry, physics, earth and space science, and biology interact to explain natural phenomena, as well as how they can be utilized to advance the Philippines economy. The course builds on learners' personal experiences and understanding of scientific phenomena to support them to be scientific and technological thinkers who can propose and solve problems through scientific observation, data gathering, and making and effectively communicating evidence-based conclusions. Learners will develop practical scientific and critical thinking skills through individual and collaborative scientific investigations and research, preparing them to pursue further education and careers in STEM fields, or contribute meaningfully to a science-driven workforce. Last but not the least, we have the course description for pag-aaral ng kasaysayan at lipunang Pilipino. Nakatuon ang kursong ito sa masusing pag-aaral o pagsusuri ng mga piling issue at usaping pangkasaysayan at panlipunan tungkol sa pag-usbong at pag-unlad ng lipunang Pilipino gamit ang tematiko, multikultural at interdisiplinaryong pagdulong. Layunin nito ang mapalalim ang kalaman at pagpapahalaga ng mga mag-aaral sa kasaysayan, kultura, ekonomiya at politika ng lipunang Pilipino upang mapaigting at maitaguyod ang kahusayang pansibiko na mahalaga sa pagiging isang mapanagutang mamamayan ng Pilipinas at ng daigdig. For the next slide, we will answer the question to who will teach these new core subjects. For effective communication or mabisang komunikasyon, this will be taught by teachers of English and Filipino, and this will be team teaching. For life skills, this will be taught by teachers of values education, health, optimizing physical education or hope, or personal development. General mathematics will be taught by mathematics teachers. General science will be taught by science teachers of any major. Pag-aaral ng kasaysayan ng lipunang Pilipino will be taught by araling panlipunan or social science teachers. Next slide. The removal of strands as a structure of the senior high school curriculum is based on the premise that the strands lock the learners into a specific set of subjects. A learner interested in both science and humanities might feel forced to choose one over the other. Learning areas are grouped into clusters to help schools efficiently organize teachers and learning resources. The proposed cluster of electives for the academic tracker as follows: arts, social sciences and humanities, business and entrepreneurship, science, technology, engineering and mathematics, sports, health and wellness, and field experience. The proposed clusters of electives for the technical professional or Tech Pro tracker as follows: agriculture and fishery arts or AFA, information and communications technology or ICT, family and consumer science or FCS, industrial arts or IA, and maritime. Next slide. The proposed time allotment are as follows. For the core subjects, these are offered at 160 hours taken in 1 year or 2 semesters in grade 11. The academic electives are at 80 hours taken in one semester. Tech Pro electives taken in grade 11 are at 320 hours offered in 1 year. I mean, yes, in 1 year. And Tech Pro electives taken in grade 12 are at 320 hours taken in one semester. This purposeful approach to time allotment ensures that learners are engaged in meaningful learning experiences, developing valuable skills, and gaining knowledge they need to thrive in the 21st century. Next slide. The tracks are reduced from four to two. Currently, the senior high school curriculum has four tracks: academics, technical vocational and livelihood or TVL, sports, and arts and design. The proposed curriculum will only have two tracks: academic, which will now subsume the sports and arts and design tracks, and the technical professional or tech pro track. Next slide, please. In the current structure of the senior high school curriculum, learners take core subjects, applied subjects, and specialized subjects. As earlier mentioned, these learners are locked in specific strands as well. The proposed senior high school curriculum opens up a doorway option, which allows learners to select up to two subjects outside their chosen track. This option allows learners to explore learning areas based on their aspirations and goals, providing opportunities for personal growth and the development of specialized skills. We imagine Filipino students inclined in the humanities, for example, and discovers fascination with computer programming. This new flexibility allows them to explore an ICT programming elective, opening up exciting possibilities for future prospects. Next slide, please. We move on to the updates on our curriculum guides. Next slide. As of yesterday, the curriculum guides have been finished and are finished undergoing language editing and are routed to the resource persons for signing off. The layout and formatting of the CGs are currently ongoing, and once approved, the CGs will be approved through the proper channels within DepEd. Next slide will show you the indicative timelines as provided in this slide here. We started in February 3 to 7, 2025 with an interagency alignment workshop. In that workshop, we invited resource persons from various, from the academe, from various institutions. We also invited our partners from CHED and TESTA to be part of that alignment workshop. That also continued from February 10 to 14 and February 17 to 21. By February 24 to 28, we finalized the curriculum guides for life skills in this case, and then the final interagency alignment workshop on the last TechPlo score electives. In March 24, we had an alignment meeting with CHED on the senior high school core curriculum. We opened public consultation from April 4 to 25. And by April 28 to 30, we had an interagency workshop on the finalization of the curriculum guides, again inviting our friends from CHED and TESTA and our resource persons from the academe. And by May 5 to 7, that's yesterday, we finished the final editing, language editing of our curriculum guides and are now being routed to our resource persons for signing off. That ends my presentation.